Coaches, today I want to talk about communication, how you keep a positive communication and really a consistent communication with your players. I think it's a way that you can just alleviate some stress, you can answer questions, everybody can stay on the same page by just doing a couple of real simple things. So the first one that I want to point out is just having a weekly email. Okay, something that's as simple as sending out a weekly email to your players about what you're going to be covering, what you're going to be going over this week, what the goals are for the week. Certainly this could be sent to parents as well, letting them know these are the things that we're working on. Depending on the level that you coach, those emails will really direct parents and players to what's most important to you. Now when you get up to the varsity level, there's lots of things that go into winning a game. So scouting reports, the personnel you have on the floor, maybe a sickness, and the things that you're working on in practice truly are important, but it's a combination of everything. The lower levels, you may not focus on a couple of areas because you know that the kids are developing skills and they're not quite to that point to try to throw everything together in a game, but they certainly can focus on the rebounding. That's what we're doing in practice, that's our emphasis, and we want to see that where something like out of bounds plays may take a little bit of a back seat. Not that they're not as important, but that wasn't the main focus of what you were doing. So picking 2 or 3 things, throwing out a weekly email to let players and parents both know this is what we're working on is a great way to communicate. A second way that we can do this is through any kind of like group chat or text. Having a group chat or a group text is a great way to stay connected with your players. Just recently, we had some players in the local paper, had a picture of them, so I took a snapshot of it on my phone and I put it in our group chat. That way say, hey, look at who's in there, and the guy started chiming in about the picture, and it was a really positive thing. If there happens to be something that's going on that people are a part of that are in your program, throwing that in a group chat or text in a positive way certainly can build some camaraderie and gets those voices going even when you're not in practice. I think that carries over for the players when you're in your team meetings or when you're going to be out on the court. So having something going, if there's a big game on, maybe you could chat with your players as the game's going about a call or about a team that has some momentum or a great shot. Anything like that that just kind of keeps that dialogue going and says, you know what, I enjoy being with you in practice and doing things, but we also have some common interest outside of practice revolving around the sport or revolving around our teammates. And let's go ahead and communicate about that as well. So that's another great way to do it. A third way that you can do it is by having either one-on-one or team meetings. And when I bring up the one-on-one and team meetings, this isn't something that you do once and then you forget about it. This is something that you do consistently. So you may do it in the early part of the season after tryouts are made. You may do it after the first game or two. You might do it over Christmas break when you have time. You may do it going into the league play when it's really getting down to those wins and losses and deciding where your team's going to end up in conference play. All of those things are important, but constant communication, sitting down just for a couple minutes, just a minute or two with each player, asking them if they have questions, you letting them know, hey, here are some areas that as a team we need to focus on. These are some things we're doing really well, but then also allowing them to know what they need to work on, what they need to improve in. So this isn't something that we just want to do when somebody's in trouble or when somebody has a bad game. Those can be times to do it, but if you have consistent communication with them on an ongoing basis, and it doesn't have to always be one-on-one. I love having team meetings and meeting before practice because I think it will help set the tone. And it's not a serious meeting all the time. Sometimes it's a team-building meeting. But we're doing something together, and then we're getting out on the court, and we're trying to put the same thing we talked about, the same thing we did, into play as we get going in what our offensive sets are, what our defense is going to be, how we're going to communicate with each other on the floor. It's all of those things help build your team. All right, the last one that I want to point out to you is something that can really be done in a fun way, something that we've really had a good time with in our program, and we call it our Bulldog Games. Okay, so Bulldog Games are something that we do over Christmas break. We bring all 3 levels, so our freshmen, our JV, and our varsity teams together, and we basically compete against each other in minute-to-win-it games. So we have a series of games that we're going to play and we pick different people to participate. So everybody on the team is going to participate in something at some point. Some of them have to do with basketball, making a shot in a certain amount of time. Others have nothing to do with basketball. They have to do with M&Ms and Oreos and tissue paper and whatever the game is that we came up with. Usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour, but the players absolutely love it, and every year they ask, are we going to do that again? So I know it's something that they look forward to. But Christmas break, we got a little bit of downtime. Let's bring everybody together. Let's have just a ton of fun. Whether your season is going, exactly the way you wanted it and you're undefeated, or the season isn't going the way that you want it to and you're trying to change how people look at things and the energy within the program. Something like the Bulldog Games can be just a changing or a season-changing time for a team. So I encourage you, look into something like that. If you need ideas, coaches, inside the coaching lab, you'll find a lot of team building ideas. You'll find the Minute to Win It games, all of this stuff. All you have to do is go to CoachMattDennis.com. If you're a member, you can get in there, get what you need. So coaches, that's what I have for you. These are ways that you can communicate with your team in a positive, productive way and just kind of build a better culture around what you're doing. So until next time, get in the gym, get your players better. And whether you're seeing this on social media, over on the blog, if you're seeing this on YouTube, I'd love for you to leave me a comment about how you communicate with your players and some of the things that you do to let everybody know that they're a part of the program. All right, Coach, till next time, go get your players.